It's grammar time. The topic for today is simple tenses. And these are the most simple tenses in the world. Did you know that we have 16 tenses? Okay, right now we're going to talk about the most simple tenses. Okay, let's start. We have the past, the present, and the future. Okay, we're going to start with the simple past. And the simple past is used to talk about an action that has been completed before now. Okay? The present simple is used to talk about habits or routine, or to talk about something that is a fact, something that is true. We also have the simple future, and the simple future is used to talk about an action which will happen in the future. Okay, so we said that the present simple is used to talk about habits and routines and about facts. Let's make an example. For example, I go to school. This is a sentence in the present simple, and this is a habit or a routine. It is something that I do regularly. Okay, I go to school from Monday to Friday. Okay, now to talk about a fact. I am a teacher. This is something that is true. It's a fact. I am a teacher. And here I have the verbs. Go is the verb and am is the verb. Okay, so the first one states for habits or routines, and the second one is talking about a fact. Okay, now let's go to the past. The past. If we want to make it the same like this, is I went to school. Remember that we have some verbs that are regular and irregular verbs. You have a list of irregular verbs. Irregular verbs means that the verb changes in another way, because the rest of the verbs, the regular verbs, we add ed, okay? Ed, or irregulars that change different, because here you notice that go changed to went. We didn't add ed, it changed because this verb is irregular, okay? If we want to make the past of this sentence is I was a teacher. And also the verb to be is irregular. You notice that here changed to was. It's irregular. And these two verbs are in your list, okay? Now, talking about the future is about an action that will happen in a future, okay? So here, we're going to add will. I will go to school. And here I have a sentence and here, by making this sentence in the simple future, I will use will and be a teacher. I will be a teacher. Okay, let's join all the ideas together. Okay, here we have a sentence in past, present, and future simple. I went to school. I go to school. I will go to school. It's the same sentence in the past, present, and future. Okay? Next. I was a teacher. I am a teacher. I will be a teacher. Past, present, and future. Okay, how to make a sentence in the past, present, and future. First, we need, the subject. Okay, here, the subject. This is the first thing that I will need in present, past, and future. I need a subject. Okay, in the past, the verb is going to be in simple past. In your list is the second column, okay? So I need the verb in past. It normally changes adding ed, but remember we have some irregular verbs, okay? And then I need a complement. And that's it. the verb in past, and the complement. And there we have a sentence in the simple past. Okay, now about the present. We start. Okay, in the present simple, it is going to be different depending on the subject. Remember, with third person singular, we add an S to the verb. We're going to add an S to the verb. If we're talking about I, you, we, they, the verb stays in base form, like you notice here. Go, okay? If we're talking about she goes to school, we add S or ES. Remember we made a note about how the verb changes. If it ends in S, double S, SH, CH, X, we add ES. Or if it doesn't end in one of those, we only add an S. But it's going to be only for third person singular. He, she, and it. Okay? And we need a complement. Subject, the verb, depending on the subject, is going to be in base form or with S, and the complement. Okay, now for the future simple. We need the subject, the auxiliary verb is will, and it's going to be for all the subjects, and the verb in base form. The verb is going to be in base form, like go, like be, okay? And the complement. Okay, so there you have. This is how we make sentences in the simple tenses. Okay, let's make some sentences, and I have here a verb, and the verb is buy. I am going to make sentences in the past, present, and future simple with the same verb, okay? I have here the verb buy. Okay, do you remember how is the verb buy in past? Okay, good. So I'm going to say she bought a dress. Okay, this is a positive statement. How do we make it negative? Okay, pay attention. She didn't buy a dress. Okay, if you notice here, I didn't write the verb bought. Why? Because the first verb changed, and when the first verb changes, we don't change the second verb, okay? So didn't is the past of doesn't, and buy stays the same. So this is a negative. Now let's make it a yes/no question. We're going to start with the auxiliary verb. In this case, in the past, is did. Did she buy a dress? Okay, again, the first verb changed, so the second is not going to change. Did she buy a dress? Yes, she did. Or no, she didn't. Okay, so this is in the past. Remember, subject, verb, and complement. Subject, in this case, the first verb is a negative, so the second doesn't change. Didn't buy a dress. The yes/no question starts with the auxiliary verb. Did she buy a dress? The verb doesn't change because did changed before, okay? Okay, now in the simple present with the verb buy. We're going with the same subject. She buys a dress every weekend. Okay, because this is something that she does regularly, okay? She goes shopping every weekend and she buys a dress. Okay, now in negative. She doesn't buy a dress every weekend. Okay? Here, remember, if the first verb changed, the second doesn't change, okay? So doesn't, buy. Now, in a yes, no question, we're going to start with does she buy a dress every weekend? Remember, the question mark is very important. If you do not write it, it's not going to be a question, okay? Yes, she does. I'm sorry, I don't know what's happening. I'm having mistakes. She does. Or no, she doesn't. Okay? Now let's make it in the simple future. Now I don't have much space, so I'm going to write it here. With the same verb, okay? She will buy a dress. Okay? Now in negative, she won't buy a dress. And a question, will she buy a dress? Answer, yes, she will. Or no, she won't. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye bye.